Yeah, I definitely have a feeling Harley dealers are not going to be very happy with what I have to say. Alright, what is up everybody? As always, thanks for stopping by to another video today. We are out on the lovely streets of Philadelphia on the Harley Sportster Iron 1200 as usual, roaming around, checking out the sights and sounds of Philly, talking bikes, talking motorcycles. And today we're coming at you with a very traditional style motovlog, all conversation, all from the bike as usual. And as we do that, we are coming up on a little cruise up through the little neighborhood of Manayunk. We're going to head out towards Plymouth Meeting, out towards Conshohocken. Conshohocken, everybody loves that. Everybody always tries to say Conshohocken when they see it on the map, and they're like, Conshohocken, no one knows how to say it. Anyways, but as we are doing that little ride today, I am very curious to get everyone's feedback and insight on their experiences at Harley Davidson dealerships, whether they have been buying a new bike or they were in the process of buying a new bike. Very curious on that today because, as most of you know, I am kind of in the market for a new bike, so I've been shopping around a little bit. So I've been spending a little time with those Harley Davidson dealerships, looking for the right bike that I want on their websites, a little bit of phone calls, hopping in and out of these dealers. And some of the experience has been somewhat interesting, I would say, so far. And that's why I'm curious to get everyone's opinion out there to see if any of theirs experiences aligns with mine and what I'm about to dive into. A couple different ones, a couple different dealerships actually. And I was just so like intrigued by this and very thrown off and somewhat, I guess I would say, disappointed. And now obviously, yes, I know not all dealerships are like this, not all sales guys are like this. There's a lot of great ones out there. Like, for example, obviously out there at Brandywine Harley Davidson, you guys see me out there all the time hanging out with Dan and that crew. Every time I go in there, somebody always says hi, somebody's always talking to me. But a couple that I've been to recently, that's not always the case. And this is very curious because, like, if I walk into a dealership and no one says anything to me, like, I'm there for a reason. I'm interested in buying something. Like, why no one would say anything to me? So I'm not going to give the specific location or anything like that on these. I'm not trying to do that whole thing. I know obviously maybe there was just a one-time thing with me or whatever, but I don't know. I don't know if anybody had the same experiences. I'm not going to drop any names on any of those, but for example, I walk into this one and, you know, there's plenty of people, plenty of employees walking around, roaming around, stuff like that. You know, I'm looking at their inventory, checking out their bikes and stuff. First of all, it takes almost like 15 to 20 minutes for a sales guy to walk up to me. Like, you know, I'm looking at bikes, examining them. Now, don't get me wrong, I could have approached one of them myself. You know, I could have engaged one of them. But I'm thinking, like, you know, why you would think I'd wait around? Like, one of these guys probably should come talk to me at some point, you would think. And it wasn't even like any of them were busy. Like, a lot of them were just standing around talking to each other. And so finally, after that time passes, finally one of them comes up to me and says, hey, you know, how you doing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. See you checking out that bike, you know. And so I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm really interested in a street bob. You know, all you guys know out there, I'm very interested in a street bob right now. And he's like, oh yeah, you know, we don't really have any right now. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I get it, like inventory is a little wacky, things are kind of slowed down with inventory coming in, this and that. And so he's like, here, let me show you this Road Glide Special over here. And I'm like, yeah, you know, great bike, whatever, but I mean, I don't really have any use or purpose for that right now. I'm specifically interested in a street bob. But I mean, I can kind of get that as well. They want to try to sell you whatever they can, you know, maybe on the odd chance, you know, maybe I would go ahead and buy a road, you know, me, no, maybe someone else could get convinced into buying one at that point in time, but not me. So I tell him again, you know, I'm really interested in a street bob mostly. And I was just kind of curious and thrown off by like the whole conversation because he never asked anything, like never asked where I live, he never asked what type of bike I'm currently on, never asked about like my experience, my skill level, none of that. And he just says, well, yeah, you know, we don't have any right now, sorry. And I say, okay, yeah, you know, I get it. I'm like, well, how would you like to take my info, my email, phone number? You you know, you guys get a shipment in or you get some trades in or something that, you know, that I think I might be interested in, give me a call. And the guy literally declined my info. He was like, oh no, just take a look on our website. If something pops up, give us a call. And I was like, what? I was like, I'm literally trying to give you a lead. Like, I'm a prospect, I'm a lead. What type of sales strategy was that to decline my info? Like, I'm tossing up a softball to this guy. I'm saying, hey, you get a street bob in, you call me and let's see what we can do. And he declined my info. How is that even any type of sales strategy or anything? So I said, oh, okay, you know, and I just left. And honestly, I haven't been back since. I haven't even checked their website since. I just thought that was like the strangest experience ever. Like, hardly not even approached by anyone, trying to toss them up a softball to give my info. Can you get a hold of me ASAP whenever you get something that I want in? Wouldn't even take my info. I just thought that was like the weirdest thing ever. I'm like so curious if any of you guys out there have had any of those like strange, weird experiences. It was like they almost didn't even want to like get to know me or get to sell me anything, really. And that's not even the first strange situation that I have to tell you guys. The second one is like, I don't understand Harley's like sales strategy, and I'll tell you why. Like, some of these individual situations that I have come across at this point in time is just so bizarre. Like I said, so I come across a street bob that I like at another dealer out here in the Philly area. So I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool, pretty similar to what I want, what I'm looking for. So I fill out one of their like online request things, you know, name, phone number, all that stuff. Give me a call, would love to discuss this bike. And obviously, I mean, you dump that stuff into the system, like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be getting a call the next day. Sure enough, I get a call. So first thing is, I didn't have the chance to answer it at the time, so they leave me a voicemail. They say, hey, you know, this is so-and-so from the dealer. We saw you were interested in a motorcycle. We wanted to give you a call, and let's talk about it. But the thing was, I specifically put in the request on the street bob, but their approach or their voicemail or whatever was just so general. They didn't reference the street bob. They didn't say if they had the bike. They didn't say anything at all. They were like, hey, you know, let's talk about a Harley Davidson motorcycle. Let's get you on the bike of your dreams, blah, 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 like whatever. It was so general. To me, it was just so general and like nonchalant and scripted. I'm like, that's kind of weird, but I'm like, I'm definitely gonna get these people back. Like, if it was me, I would leave a voicemail, say, hey, you know, this is so-and-so from the Harley dealer. We saw you put an inquiry in on a 2021 white street bob. Love to have you come in, take a look at it. We'd love to talk a little bit more about it. Give us a call. We'd love to learn what you're currently riding. Let's see what we can do to get you on this bike. You know, something a little more personalized or something like that. Like, it was just so clearly general and scripted. But I'm like, whatever. Okay, so I give them a call. And again, I'm talking to this salesperson. Not once do they ever ask me anything about myself, anything about my current bike, anything at all. They just keep talking in this general sense of like, hey, let's get you out here and take a look at a motorcycle. We can get you on this or that. Not once, as I'm talking to this representative, is the street bob ever mentioned. Not once until I bring it up. So then I finally bring it up. I say, you know, I'm really just kind of interested in the street bob that I put the inquiry on. You know, can we talk about that? Would I be able to come out and take a look at it? And then she says, well, that bike is actually not here. We actually sold it. She says they sold it a while ago. And I'm like, oh, okay, so like, I guess your website's not up to date. She's like, oh yeah, you know, I mean, we outsourced the website and unfortunately it's just not always up to date. And so I'm like, okay. So I also saw you had like 5 or 6 other street bobs. Do you have any of those? And she's like, oh, well, no, actually we don't have a single street bob in stock right now. And I'm like, what? Like, okay, maybe that's another red flag for me. Like, keep your website up to date. But also, I mean, in a sales sense, I get it. Like, they wanted my info. They're gonna leave anything up there. They can get in contact with me now for any reason since I dropped all my info in there. I mean, obviously ambiguity is a large part of sales. As long as, you know, if I think they have it, I'm gonna get a hold of them and then maybe they can try to sell me something else. But anyways, So we get off that conversation, and I'm like, oh, well, that's disappointing. They don't even have the stuff on their website that I thought maybe there was even like 4 or 5 other prospects I might be able to possibly take a look at this dealership, but nope. So I'm like, well, there goes that idea. So obviously, you know, I just keep like looking around different dealerships and stuff. But so obviously this one's got my info. I already spoke to them. They know there's interest there. So, you know, they keep calling me back, and it's just such general stuff again. It's like, hey, this is so-and-so from such and such dealer. Let's get you on the Harley of your dreams, blah, blah, blah. Give us a call. I'm like, you're not even referencing anything I told you, anything we talked about. I still don't even know if you have the Street Bob, a Street Bob out there that I want to look at. Like, you know, this place is like 30, 40 minutes from me. I'm not coming out here. These general voicemails are not going to prompt me to come out here if you don't even have what I'm looking for. Like, it's all so scripted, I feel like, and I feel like that's probably like a Harley corporate thing and how they train their guys or whatever. I'm like, it's all just so scripted. Like, you're not tailoring this to me and what I'm looking for at all whatsoever. I'm like, you're just giving me some scripted thing to like get your whatever certain amount of number of calls in per day or follow-ups or whatever. I'm like, this is nonsense. Like, this is really kind of annoying me, actually. Like, I get maybe that works in like telesales where you're like selling certain things over the phone or like whatever you're doing, high volume sales, trying to bang out all these leads. But to me, like, a motorcycling is like an experience. Like, you're trying to sell the bike, sell the experience, sell the vibe, like all of that stuff. And everything I'm being told is just so general and like not specific to anything. Again, I could be wrong, but I feel like it's all just like scripted nonsense from Harley corporate. And again, it also could just be my experience too. Like, I mean, I'm sure all you guys out there maybe had some good conversations, good talks at dealers and stuff like that. And if you have, let me know, drop them in the comments. Or like I said, let me know if any of your experiences have kind of been like this, like somewhat lackluster and disappointing. So then it's been a couple weeks and I keep getting the calls from the dealership. I'm like, oh, maybe they got some new inventory in. I get another call from them. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to chat. So this time, it's not even someone from the dealership. It was like a third-party scheduler, she called herself. Because the first thing she said was, hey, this is so-and-so from whatever dealership. And she's like, we'd love to schedule some time for you to come out and take a look at some bikes, blah, 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 this and that. And I'm like, wait, hold on. She's like, can you come in like tomorrow or today or whatever? I'll schedule for you right now. I'm like, whoa. Hold your horses here. Well, let's back it up a little bit. I'm like, I would. Seriously, I would. But I'm not going to make a trip out here if I don't even know what bikes you're talking about or like, why am I coming out, okay? Like, what am I coming out to look at? Do you have any Street Bobs in stock? And so she says, oh, well, I'm actually just a third-party scheduler. I don't even know what inventory they have. I'd have to hook you up with a salesperson. I'm like, what? So I just wasted my time answering this call for this person, not even at the dealership, doesn't even have access to the inventory to see if I can get what I want or schedule time to get out there and get what I want. So that was really almost kind of like the last straw for me. I'm like, if I'm a salesperson and I'm trying to make a sale and I'm making this call, I'm like, all right, let me get my ducks in a row. Either I have a Street Bob, I'm going to pitch it to him this way. Maybe I don't have a Street Bob, but I have something similar. Maybe I can try to sell it to him this way. I would appreciate that a lot more and give a lot more kudos in that scenario than just all the random scripted like conversations and calls and stuff. Like, that means nothing to me. I'm like, at least put in a little effort to get to know me, my bike, my riding style. You know, you could be over here trying to sell me like a road glide. You're wasting both of our time. Like, you're wasting your breath. Like, if you don't know me, that's not something I'm ever gonna buy. So like, well, like, forget it. So that's a little bit of like my experiences this far. Is like, I've been a little disappointed by like some lackluster experiences at some of these Harley dealerships trying to locate and find a new bike. And that's why, like I said, like, let me know some of y'all's experiences out there. Is this person serious? Do they really just have to pull out in front of me? Like, come on. You're gonna pull out in front of me and go 5 miles an hour? But anyways, yeah, like I said, I'm curious to know everyone's experiences like that. Like I said, a lot of great people out there, a lot of great dealerships out there. I'm sure you guys have come across all of them. I have too, like I said. But at this point now, where like I am interested, and some of them are giving me a little bit of lackluster, disappointing experiences, I would say. But honestly, we are going to stay on the grind. We're going to keep looking, and honestly, at this point, like, I'm looking at a lot of private sellers, to be honest. I'm looking at a lot of private sellers, different forums and stuff, where people are posting their bikes, and honestly, I think I'll be able to get a better deal that way, because I have got a couple quotes from dealerships that were kind of like better at working with me and stuff, and it's all the crazy fees that they're just tacking on these days are just insane. Like, selling used bikes for crazy prices, markups, fees, prep fees, dealer fees, travel fees. Like, I'm like, geez, well, man, like, I can't even keep track of all these fees. Next thing you know, you got a bike marked at this. Next thing you know, it's like $3,500 more expensive. I'm like, come on, man. Like, I'll go look at a private seller and get it for what they have it listed as. Maybe negotiate down a little bit. But for the most part, that was really what I was looking for. Any feedback from y'all out there is much appreciated from your experiences. Let me know if anyone's experiencing that. It's just me. Gotta be others out there. And did it frustrate you? Let me know. Drop it down in the comments. But I do think that is going to wrap this one up for me. Like I said, we took that little screwed through Maniac. That was Plymouth meeting Conshohocken, the lovely little outskirts of Philadelphia. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up until the next one. As always, be a friend, tell them to stop by and subscribe. Make sure you go ahead and like this video and drop a comment down there. As always, make sure you ride safe out there, guys. Make it a good one. It's the Moto John. We'll see y'all on down the road.